Hi, everyone. This is Jacqui Cooper. I am with both Crypto Mom 2 talk show as well as JCooperTravels talk show. Many of you know that I host more than one. Today, the hat that I'm wearing is on the Crypto Mom 2 talk show side. And I want to welcome everyone to this episode. I'm very excited to have my special guest, and he'll introduce himself in a quick second. So, for those that don't know about myself and my journey, my background's very diverse. I'm both an attorney as well as an educator, a special educator. And I believe in education as well as empowering and inspiring others to reach out beyond their comfort zone, but to do it in a way that is well educated, meaning that you are, doing the research that you need to do. And hence on the blockchain side, there are a lot of things that are evolving and changing very fast in this space. From how do you create wallets to non-fungible tokens to trends in business that we're going to be talking about today, because many companies right now are starting to incorporate cryptocurrency, Bitcoin into their day-to-day activities. They're also incorporating using the utility side of non-fungible tokens into their business. There's a lot of technical contracts that are happening. It's a fascinating area, but we'll get into a little bit of this later. Today, I want to welcome my guest. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you doing?
Great, great. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and the name of the organization that you're going to be sharing more information about today.
Okay. My name is Lothar Soliwon, and I'm with ZGWorldwide Consultants. We are a multi-specialty group that provides a very broad range of consulting and subject matter experts in IT, business, healthcare, and marketing. This encompasses a lot. It can be very confusing, but perhaps the best way to describe it is there are some very big consulting companies that kind of do what we do. We kind of have a business model similar to them. Now, I'll mention some of these companies. They're great. They do wonderful things. Accenture, McKinsey & Company, Boston Consulting Group serve a variety of industries. They have a variety of different areas of expertise. And we kind of do what they do, but then they like to do business with the huge corporations, the multi-million-dollar tasks. Well, we, on the other hand, target small companies, mid-sized companies that are too small to interest these huge global consultancies. And, we have similar types of services, but then again, we go one step ahead because we have many subject matter experts in obscure niches that most of these big consultancies don't have. We are headquartered in Springfield, Illinois. And someone may wonder, well, what are you doing in Springfield, Illinois, rather than Chicago? Well, here it is. Chicago has a number of these huge consultancies. Chicago is a global business center, a global consulting center, a long, long tradition of big consulting companies dealing with all sorts of corporations. But downstate Illinois, outside the Chicago area, there wasn't one single diversified global consulting company, not one, until we started ZG Worldwide. So, we cater to people in Central Illinois, which is our core area. About a third of our associates are in Central Illinois, and we have some in Chicago, and then the remainder in other US states and in countries all over the world. Well, what can we do to help companies? Well, for one thing, a lot of companies are victims of the Great Resignation. There's a lot of holes in personnel, and we have people who can work for these companies on demand, remotely, and fill holes for a while until they find somebody they feel would work best. So we're providing knowledge workers, not assembly line workers or nurses or something like that. We're more into the knowledge-based problems that come about. People who find solutions to business problems. And also we have the capabilities to help develop teams. Since we're all in a unified umbrella, it makes it a little bit easier to develop a team. There are so many people who just have a specific area of expertise, and they just can't do a lot of things that are requested of them by potential clients. So, if you have a project that requires certain specific areas of expertise that are different than each other, it's easier to form a team with the expertise that we have. And another thing that we do is our foreign associates can be very helpful in this day and age because it's so difficult to travel. If you have something that you really want a human to be involved with, to represent you, or to be your emissary in another country, you can hire a local professional. For example, in Africa, we have people all over Africa who do everything from marketing to biotechnology to law to accounting, and who have a great education, a great business background. So if you need someone to kind of do something for you that merits more than a Zoom call, some people really think face-to-face, person-to-person is the best way to communicate. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Zoom, but it's an extra step more to have a human to do something for you. So that's another thing that's we can do.
I think that what you're sharing is definitely a needed service, because many people in business, like you said, they have a gap, and having someone from your team temporarily fill that gap is very worthwhile. How did you end up getting involved with this type of organization? Did you start this? Where did you see the need for it? How did it get started?
Well, I had a long career as the marketing manager for the Illinois Department of Transportation Amtrak program. The state of Illinois spends millions of dollars a year to subsidize short distance trains in Illinois, as do many other states. New York, California, there's short distance trains that would not be operating if it wasn't for the state subsidies. So I was doing that. It was a very interesting career I had. I dealt with big cities, small cities, rural America. I traveled a lot through Illinois. I became a real Illinois expert. But at some point, I didn't want to do that anymore. And I thought a lot about what I could do after that. Consulting came to my mind, and I know a lot of engineers who worked for the Illinois Department of Transportation who became consultants. And a lot of them did very well. Some, like structural engineers or railroad engineers, where there's not enough experts around, they readily found companies that were eager to hire them. In my situation, I was a marketing guy with an MBA and didn't have a really nitty-gritty kind of an expertise in like engineering. And I thought, well, why not have a company of experts rather than I be the experts? I can be the person who runs this umbrella. And like I told you before, downstate Illinois didn't have so many types of expertise. So I thought I would do that. Then another thing, well, two other things that are part of this is the workforce is changing to more and more independent workers. Freelancers are independent kinds of people, constitute roughly 30-some% of the workforce. These people no longer work for anybody on a permanent basis. Temporarily, they may work for somebody for a few months, a few days, or whatever, but there are no bosses for these people. And I thought that since this was a growing trend, this is something that's in demand as more and more companies, they save money by hiring temporary kinds of people. For example, we provide IT managed services, which can be very expensive, but it's less expensive than developing your own IT division in a company. If you're a small company, it can be very expensive. There's a lot of mountains to climb to get up and running with IT. but you could hire somebody that does IT managed services or IT marketing services too. We have marketing experts who can be your marketing public relations department instead of starting from scratch. Or another area of expertise is interim CIOs, CTOs, CISOs. If there's a vacancy, someone is sick or someone gets fired, you don't want a hole at the top C-suite position like that. So we have interim people, and some of them would transition to full-time. It's kind of a low-risk way to hire somebody. Test them for a few months, or do they fit in? Are they accomplishing a lot? Are they worth their pay? You might be able to get them full-time if you're happy with them.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I definitely think you're right. So how would people reach out to you? Why don't you go ahead and share your website so people can reach out to you?
Our website is ZGWorldwide.com. That's Zulu Golf Worldwide.com.
And I'll definitely have that in the blog below. So in case you don't have a paper and pen, you can definitely come back to this episode and find the link so you can reach out. So I know that, I always do on my various episodes, one tip, one place. So what's a tip that you would suggest that someone who's listening think about in relation to the services that you offer?
One big tip we have is there's a lot of stress in hiring somebody full-time or part-time or hiring a consultant. You don't know how they're going to work out. A lot of references can be not exactly bogus, but they could be a friend who says all sorts of wonderful things about somebody, but it doesn't really attest to the expertise. So there's some real worry. Are you hiring somebody who knows what they're doing? What I suggest is start small. That, unless you're in a real bind, start small and give these people some small projects to do to see if, they're doing what you want. And if they are, then go on to something bigger. We have a lot of people in foreign countries. We have IT experts in India, Colombia, and Russia who do all sorts of IT things. So when you've got people thousands of miles away, do you really trust them? I mean, it's not just us. A lot of major corporations hire teams of people in India to do many types of software projects. So I think that's probably the best thing that I can tell you. And another thing is if you have an interest in knowing what we do that kind of, tells you some detail, we have something called our e-pamphlet, which gives an expertise summary for each associate in our global network. There is some length to it. You have to read, there's pages of stuff, but it's free, and I'd be glad to email that to you. And you could request that off of our website. Just go to ZGWorldwide.com and you'll have a place to click on and then provide your contact information. So I would be glad to email you our e-pamphlet.
That sounds great. Now you're located in Illinois. Is there a place that you would suggest that people kind of discover and find when they go to your state, or is there another location that you visited that you would like to highlight on today's call?
Well, two places that are quite different than each other that have a lot of tourists are, number one, Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago is a global tourist destination. There's a lot going on in Chicago. It's kind of like a small New York City. It's got a great downtown, a lot of museums, a lot of things to do. So, and a lot of shopping. Chicago has lots to offer. Downstate Illinois, I don't want to negate any community, but I think my hometown of Springfield, Illinois is a great destination because of all the Lincoln history. If you love history, you'll love Springfield, the old state capitol, the Abraham Lincoln Historic District, Lincoln's tomb, and the Oak Ridge Cemetery. And there's a Frank Lloyd Wright house, the Dana Thomas house, which is one of the most original in the entire country. There's a lot of other tourist sites. So the Springfield tourism economy is quite large. There's a lot of people come from all over the world to visit. I mean, you'll always see groups of people from Germany or Japan or Spain or whatever coming on buses. And it's a major stop.
I agree with you. Springfield, is definitely a place to visit and check out. So I definitely want you to mention one more time, your website so people can make sure that they connect with you.
It is ZGWorldwide.com, ZuluGolfWorldwide.com.
That's great. And I also, for those that are listening, the network that, we were just talking about definitely has a lot of experts. The area that I am, involved with, both from the legal perspective as well as the consulting side and the crypto or blockchain side, is something that I'm feeling very comfortable with. And I want to offer that too for those that are looking at exploring, even if you've never done it before, both from an individual or a business side. If you have any questions and you want to have a complimentary consultation so you can see what information you need and how to organize that information, and then what next steps it might be, because this is really major businesses are getting involved. HMM, PayPal, Venmo, different retailers, all are starting to become involved. So if you're a small or mid-sized business, it's really important for you to stay with the trends and knowledgeable, so that way you can support your clients and also maintain your business in a way that maybe you had not thought about before. So definitely reach out to me at cryptomom2consulting@gmail.com, but I'll also have that information on the block below. Any last minute thoughts that you want to share with our listeners? I think what you're doing is great. And I think that there's definitely a need, because there's a staffing gap. And many companies still have the need, but they might not be able to hire full time, but they need to have the businesses continue to run. So what you're doing is phenomenal to help them maintain and keep going forward. Anything you want to share?
Well, I'd like to share, just if I may, we have 2 books we offer. Oops. Sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yep. Business Advisors Consulting and Coaching. Yep.
That was written by us because, me, and we have some editors to help, with some certain aspects of it. But basically, the reason for this book is a lot of people don't know what consultants do and coaches do. We have a number of coaches in our organizations that deal with executives and just generally for businesses. And we have coaches who've done this for many years. We have one in Central Illinois, we have one in Arizona, and we have some in Europe also. We have people, if you're in Europe and you want Europeans to be your coaches, we got them there. So that's what this does. And then one other book.
Looking Beyond the Business.
Beyond the Business.
Yep.
Okay. And that gives some pointers on how do you hire coaches and consultants? What do you look at? I mean, this is another thing. Like I gave you the worries before about people. And how do you trust? There's a matter of trust that's very important. So this gives you some pointers on how to do that. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I know that those are valuable resources for those that are listening. And so definitely, visit back the talk show, so that way you can go back to the website links and check out and see how they can help everyone. So everyone, thank you so much for being on. Definitely like and subscribe. There are going to be more episodes shortly. And for everyone, definitely have, whenever you listen to this, have a happy new year, but also remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others. We're one small globe, and together we will all make this work and be happy. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jacqui.